Okay, everybody, the art of war will tell us that every single battle is won or it's lost before it even begins. Now, when we sit down to trade, we are stepping into a financial warfare. Here are some of my absolute best tips to start winning the trading day before it even begins. The first thing I can tell you is this: make sure that you are following the same exact process every day and that you put that process into a template. The last thing that you want to do is sit down to the screens in the morning and think, what should I be doing right now? Or wondering what's the next step, or feeling kind of aimless. Or the worst thing you can do is just kind of be doing random actions. The way that we begin something is typically the way that that thing is going to go. So if you sit down at the screens in the morning and you're kind of aimless and you're just doing random actions, you are likely to just drift through that next session and be doing random actions as well. So think through, what are the steps that I need to do to make sure I'm prepared for my trading day. Put those into a template and then just follow that same exact process every single day. Here's an example of the template that I use. I built this inside of just Excel. This is custom built, as you can tell by my beautiful graphic design work here. But there's a section here where I can write down my news events, a section where I can check in with just some qualitative type data. There's the analysis that I need to perform on the products that I'm trading, a spot where I can track the trade ideas I have, and then some journaling just for any observations and things that I need to take note of throughout the day. And what exactly I'm doing is not as important, but to create this, I've just thought through the steps that I need to do, the actions I need to take to make sure that I'm prepared for the trading day. Put those into a template. Every single day, I follow the same exact process. I go through the same exact template. This makes sure that you're going to start your day with a little bit of structure and make sure, obviously, that you're actually prepared and you're not missing anything for the trading day that's coming up. Okay, the second thing that I could tell you is to make sure you're checking the news. This should go into your process you follow every day, but I wanted to make it its own point because as traders, we have to be aware of the numbers that are coming up and the releases that are coming up on the economic calendar. And if you're sitting down to trade and you don't know what's coming up for news, you're missing a vital piece of information. You might as well be a Forex trader. Yeah. And if you want to trade Forex and if you want to not be aware of what the news is, you can crawl back to MT4 or whatever bullshit charting package you're using and just keep following your moving averages. But for the rest of us who are trading futures like adults, we need to know what these news events are. Now, I think it's important to note that I don't actually care what the news event is. The news event coming up, what the number is, it means nothing to me. Even if it's something like FOMC, that can happen and I'm not sitting there watching it. I don't care specifically what the event is, but I just need to know that throughout my day, these times are where we're going to likely see some increased volatility. And we got to make sure that those things do not catch us off guard. So make sure every single day we're checking the news and you're aware of the events that are coming up. Okay. The third thing that I could tell you is to make sure that, or not to make sure, but something that would be a good tip: do a chart replay before the session begins. Your charting package will have this feature. And what you can do is take the previous day that just happened and replay it. What I'll do is I do a couple different things. I'll either replay the day and I'll put it at 3 times the speed and I'll focus on from about 9:30 till around 11:30, kind of the first 2 hours of the trading day, but I'll do that on faster speed. And what I'll pay close attention to are the trades that I took in the previous day or potentially trades I missed taking in the previous day. I'll go through and I'll trade those on a little bit faster than normal speed, and potentially even execute those at a more perfect level. The other thing I'll do is just watch and observe how the day shaped up. So for this, I'll usually watch the entire trading day from the 9:30 open all the way through to the close, and I'll play it at like 30 times the speed. What this does is just give you a good overview of kind of the vibe of how the current market action is going, how the price action is going. And typically, if you're watching something at normal speed and all of a sudden you kind of step back and speed it up, you will see things on that fast action that you would never see when things are going slow or when they're going at its normal pace. So either one of these are very nice. And what this does is it helps kind of prep your mind for the trading day that's coming up. Kind of like the equivalent if you were going to go out and hit the driving range, or if you were going to go out and go golfing. Before you actually hit, and before you actually begin, grabbing a bucket of balls, going to the driving range and just getting some practice swings in, more than likely that's going to improve your performance once you actually begin playing for the day. Doing these chart replays, you might not have the time to do this every single day, and I don't do these every single day before the session begins, but these are things I do very frequently, and usually it would be rare an entire week goes by that I don't start the day with some type of a chart replay. The next thing that I could tell you is that every good trading day has to begin with a good night's sleep. If you are not well rested, the ability that you have to perform at a good level is going to drop so dramatically. You and I, as traders, we are mental athletes. And if we are not well rested, we will not have the same ability to be able to make observations and connect those dots in real time. We're not going to have the same ability to manage our emotions and to try and stay in control. Our ability in general just to perform and to stay focused is going to drop off significantly. And a good night's sleep is not something that just happens on accident. This is something we have to put some attention to and we have to work towards. But as traders, this is one of the most important things we can do to win our day is to make sure that we are well rested. Really, really important. Now, if you're serious about tracking your sleep, if you're serious about improving your sleep, highly recommend that you get yourself an Aura ring. This is what I use to track my sleep. It does a lot of other things, but I only put it on at night and I just use it to track my sleep. What this will do is just break down an incredible amount of data for you. And one of the really important things it'll do is it will give you something that's called a readiness score. This readiness score is going to be kind of the main thing that I focus on. And what this does for me, or what I shoot for, is to have a readiness score of 80 or above. So if you were to start tracking your sleep, having this number to lean on is very nice because I know a massive difference if I'm coming and starting my day with a 65 or if I'm starting my day with an 80 or above. And I don't hit 80 or above every single day, but through tracking my sleep, I've had the ability to understand what are those key metrics that are going to help me get a good night's sleep and what things really distract and disrupt my sleep. If you're interested in a separate video, you guys can let me know in the comments because I could do a separate video on what are the actual steps that I take to try and make sure I get a good night's sleep. And then if I notice that, okay, I'm starting to have several nights in a row where things are going bad, really focus, really get back on track. Because like I said, a good night's sleep just does not happen on accident. And there's some specific things that we can do to at least boost the chances or to make sure that we are getting a really good night's sleep. And so many things about our trading are going to improve if we get a good night's sleep. The second to last thing that I have for you is before the day begins, before you start trading, train your brain. There's some good companies that do this. I use the company Luminosity. And Luminosity has some amazing games that you can come in here and play. They do a little workout for you every day that you can just do the workout. It usually takes around 20 minutes. But inside of this app, they have these games that are just built to target specific things. So, for instance, there's memory games here. And inside of these memory games, you can play these things that will help improve your short-term, your longer-term memory. There's games for attention here that are really nice. That these will help you with your ability to lock in on things that are important and block out distracting information, and it focuses your attention. There's good games here on problem solving, really nice games on flexibility. I don't know if you can even see this on the screen, but I'll paint you a word picture if you can't see it. Really nice games on flexibility that allow you to switch tasks very quickly, or at least help with that as a skill and staying fluid. Yeah. There's games here on speed, taking in sensory input information and being able to process that very quickly. There's also games here for language, and there's games for math. You're kind of a dork and you just want to go through some of those games for no reason. But those other games we talked about, these are specific skills that we need as traders, and the ability to be flexible or the ability to process things quickly or the ability to make observations. These we can practice and we can work on and we can improve. So I'd highly recommend, and just like I was talking about with the chart replays, that kind of preps your mind and gets you ready for the day. This app, Luminosity, is going to do the same thing. It preps and helps get you ready and get your mind going for the trading day that's coming up. Really powerful, because what we're doing here, as I've said, it's a mental athletic endeavor. And if you were going to go do something very physical, like go work out, it's a great idea to do some type of a warm up first Sitting down and trying to trade, it's like the equivalent of sitting down or going to the gym and immediately just trying to bench the max that you can. This is stressful and this is hard. And doing some type of warm up before can be very important. So I do the brain training every single morning, and I would highly recommend. It's very cheap. It's very reasonable. It's like $60 a year or something to get yourself a subscription. Maybe it's changed. I think that's what it is. But I would check into that. I don't have any affiliation with them or anything, but I use them every day. Highly, highly recommend. And let me leave you with one last thing to wrap up this video. The last thing I can say about preparing for the trading day is setting an intention. I feel very strongly about this, that if you were to take two groups of people, somebody over here and a group of people over here that were just accomplishing what they want, they were just making progress in life. And if you were to take a group of people over here that were kind of lost, just sort of drifting and not really sure what's going on, not really making any progress in their lives, if you were to take these two groups of people, one of the common separators would be the fact that people over here have intention and they have a direction for how they're spending their time, how they spend their hours, how they spend their days, their weeks that turn into months, that turn into years. And people over here that are kind of frustrated and not really sure what's going on, I guarantee they're just having no intention. Not that that's the only thing that could go wrong, but intention is very powerful. And when you don't have an intention for how you're spending your time, where your hours go, those hours turn into days, which turn into weeks, which turn into months. And before you know it, you've been trading for years and you haven't really ever made any progress. You're still struggling with the same exact things you're struggling with. And it can be as simple as every single day setting an intention for what you're trying to improve upon. This can be very powerful and put your trading to a completely different level if you were to be intentional about how you spend your trading sessions. When you are setting an intention for your trading day, you don't want to do this with something P&L related. That would be the best. Honestly, I wish we could just focus on our P&L because that would be great, but it's a horrible thing to focus on. The intention you're doing should be your biggest trading frustration. All of us have trading frustrations, and of all the things that might be going wrong in your trading business, there is one thing probably. There is one thing that's causing you the biggest frustrations. It's causing you to lose the most amount of money. Work on that thing. It might be the fact that you are just constantly scared to get into setups and you're missing a lot of entries and this is costing you a ton. It might be that you are caught up in over trading and just sitting down chasing around the price action, taking a lot of low quality trades. Maybe there's something wrong with your analysis and the trade ideas that you have are just really bad. A really popular one would be not sticking to your risk parameters, where you can do a lot good for a while, but eventually your whole thing just implodes because one day you're just break everything down with your risk. Whatever it is, figure out that thing that's causing you the biggest trading frustrations and make that your intention. So it might be something like over trading, really common. You come in, you're just chasing around the price action and you're taking a lot of trades that aren't good. Come in, this is my intention. And you don't want to make your intention, today I do not want to overtrade. Okay, probably better than nothing, but we can do better. Make it specific and something that you can actually act upon. Like today, I am not going to trade more than 5 trades. That's good. That's something that you can stick to. And if you're used to putting on 20 low quality trades and you limit yourself to 5, that's something that's really going to push the needle for you. And this is an intention that you can set that can really help you. Coming in every single day before you start the trading day and being clear about something you're focusing on that's going to help you improve. Powerful. Okay, here are some tips for improving your trading prep. And I can guarantee you that if you were to follow these, if you were to incorporate some of these or all of these into your trading day before you sit down and before the markets open up and before you start pushing the buttons, I can guarantee you that you're going to start winning some days before they even begin.